Hello and welcome to another Redline demo. Today we're going to be going through another of the new features that we've put into the Pro Pack, and that is the rig copy data. Now Redline, with all of the metadata systems, has its own backend for managing data, managing animation, managing export systems. And a lot of these features that are in this new UI actually exist in various UIs within the system. So we have our exporter. These are all the export systems, all the export tags that this character has. We have our animation systems and the animation UI for copying animations and copying keys, managing timecode, etc., which is through the timecode manager. So there is a lot of different ways of propagating data amongst everything. And we had a client recently who basically had a new set of rigs and they wanted to update data from one setup to the other setup. So we kind of came up with this, which seems like a much more sensible way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a second rig into this. Okay, so we've got two rigs in the scene, both metadata rigs. And what I'm going to do is I want to sync the data from this guy over to this guy. Now, as with anything in Redline, if it's metadata, when you're copying data from A to B, you just have to select anything, a controller that's wired to the system on one rig and a controller that's wired to the system on the other rig. Doesn't matter what it is, it can be anything, because what we do is we walk up the systems to find the metadata that they're actually wired to. So this is going to basically take data from A over to rig B. Now, like I say, you can do this in the animation toolkit. If we open the toolkit up, which is this thing, we can copy the keys, we can copy the attributes, we can do a lot of it, and we can do it very granular in this. So we can do it over certain time ranges. But on the occasions when you really want to get this data from him over to this rig, this is invaluable. So what do we do? We've got the copy animation, and that literally does the whole thing. We'll do that last actually, because otherwise you kind of get everything done in one file swoop. So copy pose will do just that. There's, oops, this is Mayor updating itself. So that's copy the pose from A over to character B, but it is just a pose. And for some reason this keeps popping back. I think I've got keys on this guy as static keys, which I shouldn't have. Let's do the animation. So we'll do the animation. And that's taken all of the animation across from one rig to the other. Now that's everything that's animated. If you had animation layers on the first character, what it would do is it would dynamically flatten all of that data in the background and copy it over as flat, fresh keys. So the data is no layers, single, fresh data, which in itself is quite a useful thing to be able to do. Excuse me. We mentioned the export data. If we come to our exporter, you see we've got two character tags. Character 1 has the export systems on it. Character 0 doesn't, has no export tags at all. So if we were to try and export this guy, the systems wouldn't know what to do with it. Now again, we can do it in this UI. We can go right click, copy loops, and we can paste them into this character using the paste loops. But again, this is another set of systems through another UI, whereas this one manages everything in one file swoop. So again, we'll just select anything from character A. In fact, let me just do this. I can't remember who it is. Let's have a look. It's that guy. So if I select something on this character, it selects the base system for it. So I know it's this guy that's got the rigs in it. We'll just go through the system, select a controller on him. So it's from the top system over to the bottom system, and we go export UI. And if we now refresh this data, that second character has synced up. So it's synced all of the export systems from this rig over to this rig. It's basically duplicated all of those export subsystems. Excuse me. The next one down, audio data. Audio data is slightly different, and this is kind of designed primarily for systems where you need to keep a range of who is saying what. So it's mainly for facial. If you've got character A saying their lines, the Redline audio data, sorry, the Redline anim data preserves audio, and this is how it does it. It does it by the links that we have between the characters. So you see this particular character, the top one has two audios linked, the bottom one doesn't. Now, if I do the audio data, because the audio is only allowed to be connected to one meta rig, what it'll do is it casts it from rig A over to rig B. Okay, it does say they're casting, so it's slightly different with the audio. Timecode. Timecode is just that. If we have timecode propagated on one rig, you know what, I'm just going to move this guy out of the way so I can select him slightly better. There we go. So this guy, let's have a look. Has he got timecode? We've got timecode counters, but we haven't actually got any timecode on it. So let's just do that. Let's just add a bit of timecode. Timecode, set timecode to time range. Put a timecode on him. We'll start at that from that frame. Done. So this guy now has timecode. You'll see the timecode propagating just here. If we turn the timecode HUD on, I don't know where I'm going now, that's completely the wrong place to do it. Timecode HUD connect systems. There's the timecode of this character propagating through. This guy has no timecode, so again I can copy his timecode from him over to him, copy timecode. This guy will now have the timecode propagated, and I can connect the HUD to him. In fact, I can connect that HUD to both characters. Let's just do that. That to that. Timecode, no, wrong one. Timecode, connect to systems. You'll see both, there we go, both have got timecode on them. So that's synced timecode over. And the other one is facial animation. Now, facial animation is slightly different, because by that what we mean is a subsystem of type facial that's connected to the meta rig. It's kind of more specific to the Red9 system, so we're not really going to be bothering with that too much in this case. But to reiterate this, in one foul swoop, if I load this character up and we load the second static character up again, this character over to this character, copy all user data. As I say, that'll flatten all the animation data, flatten everything out, copy all the data, copy the poses, cast the audio data across, make the export connections, and basically sync that character so that he is the same as the other one in terms of all of the data that's gone onto him. So it's just a really useful way of very quickly managing systems. As I say, you can do all of this stuff through the animation UI, through the exporter, through the timecode manager. You can do all of this stuff, you can copy things around, but it gets a bit messy when you want to do it in one fell swoop. What we'll probably do is we might end up putting some of this functionality over onto the right click DAG menu, so that you select two parts of two rigs and do it in there. But for the time being, it's a new function that's there. Now the functionality that is running that is really, really easy, and it's very well exposed in the data sets. So let me just really quickly go through that. If I import red9.core.red9 meta, I type this about 1,000 times every day. I really must just import it by default. R9 meta. We'll import meta. We'll find the rigs, which will be R9 meta.get meta rigs. Whoops. Which will give me both rigs, because it will found both meta rigs. There we go. Let's go. Source is what do I call it? Source is rigs. First rig, destination will be the second rig. That, oops, hang on a second. There we go. And the way of doing it is you literally go source.copy, and if we hyperlink, you'll see there's everything. Copy animation, copy data to rigs, copy facial, copy exports. Exactly the same functionality you just said. And what you do is you just give it the rig you're copying it onto. And it's as simple as that. Take the data from the source, copy it over to the destination. Done. And that's it. So it's really, really well exposed and very easy to code. Thanks for watching. We'll probably expand on this a bit more, but we're going to do more and more of these as time goes on. I'm going to try and do 2 or 3 snippet videos every day if I can. So thanks for watching. Bye.